Hold up, hold up. Yeah. Hold up, hey. Woman.
Hold on. Let me finish my point, you jerk.
You don't call your dad a jerk.
Well, you're being a jerk.
We just had one of our guests on, Jason Fry, talking about the Celtics are going to win their 19th championship. So what have you got to say about that?
Who this Jason Fry character is, he was talking about doing hard shit. Well, his prediction is bullshit. Okay. All right. I have a feeling we're about to be joined by Sir George. He normally comes out of the black hole. Oh, there he is. Sir George. He is
it's
back.
You play football. What's up? You know,
well, I just want to say
hey, Hey, Jerry. Hey, Jerry. I just saw Jerry joke. Hey, Jerry. You said, well, this ain't your number one. Your number one, Jerry. Number one.
Oh, my God. We're moving on. We've killed the Cowboys. Matter of fact, get out. I'm tired of talking to you. Give me freaking JJ. Bring JJ on the show. Holy crap. Let's hear his opinion about this damn trade and why they made this decision. I think you're trying to cover your own ass right now and just not admit
you were wrong. In the country.
I think you're just trying to cover your ass right now. And don't.
You know what? I got a big ass, so
that's a lot of
cover. A lot of cover. It take a blanket, damn it.
More like a drape.
Did you just pull a drape? Is that so I can open it up when I need to go? You know,
you're getting too deep into this.
Rivalries make sports great, but they got to be on the same level. And I'm sorry, Angel Reese ain't on the level of Caitlin Clark. Like, it's not Magic Bird. If you don't want to commit to it, take your ass and be a PE All-Star.
First off, you need to get your facts effing straight.
How do you like me now? What? You're the coach. Shut up, dude. All you haters, shut the hell up. Just shut the hell up. Whoa. I won 5 Super Bowls, damn it. How dare you call the Cowboys a shit team? Watch the Cowboys. It'll be fun, they said. Bloody fucking hell, it was no fun.
It was like riding a train around one of the Kardashians' asses, and you just disappear into this abyss of ice. Somehow he talked about buttholes that made me hungry for a PBJ sandwich. It's 35-7, and it's only 7 because you just scored. Shut up.
Are you telling me coaches like Coach Popovich does plays in spaghetti noodles?
The thing about Coach Popovich is he actually liked to use popcorn with super glue.
Popcorn with super glue?
Yeah, he would put super glue little magnets on the bottom, and then he would arrange them on the board, and he would like color them different colors, and that would signify the opponents. And yeah.
Are those the players?
I don't want to give away any industry secrets on that particular thing, but yeah, I'm just gonna say you gotta. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm saying no more.
And they're playing with sticks, and they're playing with a little puck all the time.
Expert analysis right there. They play with sticks and pucks.
Trying to grow the game, man. Global game.
These people, they don't give a damn.
Well, I don't really know, but it drives me nuts. You're almost going to laugh. I can see it. Almost fixing to lose it. It drives me nuts.
Oh, man.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
Yes, folks. If you don't know, we're on air. Your ass needs to call somebody. Oh, man. It's been a week. It has been a week. But folks, I'm
Expect
Casey
some
the Remix.
foul play in this tonight, like Caitlin Clark fouling Angel Reese.
Whoa.
That's what we're gonna. I dropped my pen. I don't know. Okay, I got her back up. I'm all right.
Foul play. What are you talking about?
I said expect some foul language and some foul play.
All right.
Put the kids to bed.
Well, that sounds like potty mouths coming out. But you cut me off. I mean, you do it all the time. But this is Eddie, the original schedule, on the screen next to me, folks. The man, the myth, the legend, and the bald and the beautiful. So, yeah, straight all the way. I don't even know if you have to shave your hair anymore.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because it'll come in like the wig that I wear for Jerry Jones impersonation. So,
But that's not the real Jerry? What are you talking about? Don't give away our secrets. All right.
all of our guests are simulated at this point. We're looking for real guests. I keep messaging Des Bryant, and he keeps ignoring me.
Yeah. I mean, our title show had John Abraham on. Like, how cool was that?
That was cool. And we're gonna have to get the bearded bros to start helping us with guests.
Oh shit! I mean, I told them y'all need to be booking our guests. Like, I mean, we've had some good guests. I mean, Jason, Javian. Hell, we did a Navy episode mixed with sports last year with Senior Chief Rosenberg. So, I mean, we've had some good guests on. Not knocking our guests, but John Abraham's on a different level. Like, that would be pretty sweet to get some. I told them they need to start booking our guests. They need to be our agents. But I did send an email out to the NFL scout I teased not too long ago before the draft. So we are working on some things. We're trying to mix it up. But before we get to other news of the network, we always start every show with a joke from the old man. He tries to get me to laugh. He hasn't done it once. You did get me to smile last week. Last week, you did get a smile. The driving me nuts in the intro. By the way, hands down, I don't give a shit what the other shows do before their show. Our highlight reel before our show is the best on the network. I'm just throwing it out there, fellas. I feel like we stepped it up. Like, now we had to throw the old intro at the beginning of that, but I'm saying it. I'm saying it. I worked a lot of hours on that, by the way. Anyways, hit us with the joke.
All right. Well, here we go. What do you get? And this is more of a riddle. What do you get when you cross a fist with an elephant? A fist with an elephant.
Like a fist?
A fish, as in a swimming
fish.
Fish with an elephant.
I don't I don't have an answer. Go ahead, hit the people.
Swimming trunks. Fish with an swimming trunks. Get it? I almost gave it away because I had to give you a clue because you didn't have a clue. So, but swimming trunks.
Are you serious right now? Anyways, apparently, I don't know if that's Derek or Dustin working Tired Sports Network tonight, but he agrees with my assessment on the intro. And our new show, I didn't even get a chance to get this, and they're already watching. They're already commenting. We announced a new show last week. Tired Sports grew again. I'm telling you, you need to start watching these shows because we're growing. People are watching. That's why we're growing, obviously.
ESPN better look out. That's all I can say.
Tired Sports Network
ESPN better look out.
Well, did you see ESPN close their LA studio? Like, ESPN ain't doing too hot.
It's because of all the work we're doing. They can't keep up.
It's our fault.
They just can't keep up.
It's our fault. You never see ESPN Los Angeles ever again. But our new show, I think they're predominantly basketball oriented, which I like as a basketball coach. You know, that's my realm. But they're called Recognized Game, as you see on the screen right here. They're two brothers, so we keeping it like we got father and son here. They got brother on brother crime going on their show. So think they're going to be in the next few weeks.
Where are they located out of?
I think they're in 2 different locations. I think I don't want to give
Okay.
away their like that's OPSEC, operational security. I don't want to give out their locations.
You're not in the military anymore. Snap out of it. Snap out of your PTSD there.
Well, I don't want to put out their business. Maybe they don't want people to know where they're at. I don't know.
I'm just saying generally what
They're
they
in the
cover.
central area of the country. Let's say that.
Okay.
So, and I think they have a great dynamic, that they have going. So
There you go. He just put it out there.
Well, he put it out there. We'll put it out there. His mama called him Clay. I'm going to call him Clay. Getting started this weekend. Okay. Sweet. One brother's in Iowa, so maybe he's got some insight on Caitlin Clark. Maybe he went and watched some Caitlin Clark, and we need to link up there. And then Caleb's in Colorado, the land of the Nuggetless, because they're out of the playoffs.
Did you just say the Nuggetless?
Yeah, I made that up. That was stupid as hell, I know, but just roll.
Yeah, that was. We apologize to the recognized game. It's not the home of the Nuggetless.
Well, they're not. The playoffs are Nuggetless because they lost in Game 7.
I understand that. You're basically saying that the NBA playoffs, Colorado got castrated in the playoffs. Is basically what you're saying.
What happened in Game 7? Did you see that game? They didn't even show up. We're jumping the gun here. We're going to start with this other segment. But Nuggets, holy crap, they did not show up in Game 7. Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him. Stop it. He hasn't got me to laugh once. All right, they're terrible.
I've got you to smile, and he has to try. He tries to not laugh.
Well, yeah, your job is to make me laugh, and the people laugh. The people laugh because they don't really know you and how corny this is. Every time I come over to your house, you tell me 50 dad jokes before I can have my first whiskey. All right.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm going to agree with what he just said there. You can't be nuggetless in swim trunks. That's definitely true.
It's 2025. You never know. You never know.
Well,
all right, we're going to move on.
You have to talk with a very high voice if you do that.
Yeah. All right. Be one of the China Emperor's concubines, I guess. All right, let's move on. Let's get it started. I want to start with a segment we had written down last week. We didn't get to. It is completely my fault. The Major League Baseball. They reinstated the commissioner Manfred reinstated Pete Rose. And pretty much said a lifetime ban ends when you die because you're not alive anymore, is essentially how he worded it.
Hence lifetime.
Correct. You not trying to this isn't a shot. You obviously grew up in a time where you could see him play. And you would see Charlie hustle, and you lived through and saw the scandal play out in the press and in baseball when it happened. Do you think it should have been lifted, or should he have been in the Hall of Fame already? Like, what's your perspective on Pete Rose and not only that, but Shoeless Joe Jackson? Now, no one is alive that saw Shoeless Joe, but these guys are now eligible for Hall of Fame. Should they be allowed in from your perspective?
Well, my perspective was that it should have been a time period of punishment, but Pete Rose was still around when Major League Baseball and pretty much all the major sports got into all this. Now gambling is part of their freaking business to make money. When that happened on day one, they should have allowed him to be voted on to go into the Hall of Fame, because at that point they admitted that gambling is about money. Now, one of the things they never really proved, at least in my mind, that Rose bet on his own stuff. And although they claim that, if you ever watched him play, there's times when you can tell a player is not giving his all, but Pete Rose always did. And there's very few, if I don't think any other players that manage plus play. Um, I mean, Pete Rose was an icon baseball. And I realized that there's a lot of controversies as far as, the steroid era and all that. And there's certain folks like that. And I believe they should be in the Hall of Fame in a different wing of the Hall of Fame, obviously. But Rose, it should not have taken him getting um or him passing away before they finally say, okay, we'll let you in now. Now that you're a corpse, we'll put you in. And that just, to me, there was so much animosity between the powers that be and Pete Rose himself, because he really never backed down against them. And they obviously resented that a lot. So, we definitely, I think he should have been in as soon as these major sports, and especially baseball, decided to get in bed with all these gambling things that now, with all these different sites.
Yeah, so
That's
Pete
my
Rose admitted in 2004. So when I was a senior in high school, he admitted that he bet on baseball. Up until then, it was denied. And NHL, whoever's posting this, please stop.
They're on YouTube. You can block them on YouTube. I'll work on that. Keep going.
Ultimately, he denied the whole time. So he lied for 20 years, somewhere around there. And he says he didn't bet on his own games. I don't know if I believe him, because he had a 20-year history of lying about betting on baseball, period. So do I think he should have been in as the hit king? Yes, I do, 100%. But you put a caveat on there. Maybe he's not allowed in the building. He's not allowed to go to the ceremony. There's a caveat or an extra plaque in there by his name or his bust on saying, not painting him in a good light. And same thing with Shoeless Joe Jackson. Obviously the 1919 World Series with the Chicago, as they like to call them, Black Sox, the Chicago White Sox, through the series. And if you actually go back and understand how little they got paid and how brutal their schedule was, and you throw a little bit of money at people back then to do that, man, it's pretty incredible. So to what they were dealing with in the early 20th century in baseball. So and it's the same thing. I think and of course, obviously, I think Shoeless Joe Jackson died in the 50s, if I'm not mistaken, maybe early 60s. But I think I remember hearing 1954. That number sticking in my brain. I think they should be in, and just like I think Barry should be in. The guys from the steroid era. It's what baseball was. As a matter of fact, that era saved baseball. And so, how do you not tell the story of baseball without these individuals in the most important places like Cooperstown, when everyone knows about it? But, we don't want to mention him because it was bad. No, take the good and the bad. I understand the Hall of Fame is supposed to have certain standards, and I get that. And that's why you put, little brackets on what can and not can happen when it comes to them. So, all right.
I took care of the spammer there. He's on timeout for 24 hours. So
sweet. Appreciate that. Did y'all see? Oh, I will say this. Like a day or two after the ban was lifted, the Reds immediately had Pete Rose Day. I was not necessarily about that. So You see SS, the shortstop for them. Yeah, that's insane. The baseball today is all about swing, launch angle. It's not about working counts. It's about hitting home runs. That's what people want to see. That's what Major League Baseball wants. People just don't enjoy a 1-0 game anymore. Like they don't understand the beauty. Just like basketball. Like I lament and love 90s basketball, early 2000s basketball, late 80s basketball when the scoring kind of got reined in a little bit from the 80s. But people don't want to see an 85 to 83 game in the NBA finals anymore, you know? So, you know, you got to eventually, you got to kind of listen to your audience, and today's younger fan, especially, doesn't understand the beauty of that in the defensive struggle or offensive struggle and defensive battle on the field. And so, yeah, I think it's Ellie De La Cruz that he's talking about for the Reds. But all right, you wanted to bring it up, so I'm gonna let you kind of talk about it. There's something in the WNBA or something. Apparently, that league has started. So go ahead.
Well, obviously, this last week we had the thing with oh, see, now this person is trying. Sorry, I gotta block to put this one in timeout. They keep coming back. I don't know why they want to put on the playoffs on this. I guess that's an AI program or something like that. Sorry, we're having a spammer. I'm having to take care of that. They have been taken care of again. Well, this week we obviously had Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in the news again. Now, getting to the clip of what happened, if you watch the full play, you'll see that Angel Reese pushes one of the other players out of the way, both hands, pushes them out of the way, gets a rebound, and then Caitlin Clark comes in and hits her for what they call for a flagrant foul. I personally think they kind of stretched on flagrant foul because it was, to me, she's just fouling her. Of course, Angel Reese played the victim in that of, you know, oh my god, you know, she did a very good impression of LeBron, you know, bumping into somebody and basically saying his leg is broke. So what that sparked this week, though, was someone who I actually like. I like RG3. I didn't like him when he was a Washington quarterback, obviously, for Baylor. But it sparked a online feud between Ryan Clark, hence no relation to Caitlin Clark.
Nah, you don't say.
And and RG3. And it sparked a little online feud. You know, RG3 was given his opinion on things and basically was talking about how it wasn't it shouldn't be racial, and a lot of people go to that, but he was more or less talking about the feud that is between Angel Reese or whatever, and Ryan Clark comes back, and Ryan Clark, you know, obviously has been in the news a lot, but he has a tendency to make things about race. And so he said that RG3 can't be commenting on what a black woman's going through since he's married to a white woman. And this started the whole back and forth, and it went way off the rails. And a lot of other people were talking about it. But my whole thing was, if you just stick to the basketball play itself, then you wouldn't need all that other junk thrown in there. And what's crazy to me about social media and all this stuff now is that we watch these feuds play out publicly, you know, and a lot of other people chimed in. In fact, I think it was I can't remember. It was one of the running backs that used to be with Pittsburgh. Got blocked by Ryan Clark. That started a whole nother, and it just went in these little branches of a feud here, a feud there, people saying this, people saying that. It just got out of hand. Huh?
I'm gonna hop in here. You heard it. For those who were around for the highlight intro, I literally say in that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese is not a rivalry because Angel Reese isn't on that level. It's not Magic Bird or anything like that. No one had even talked about how bad the Chicago Sky got their ass kicked in that game. So don't. Angel Reese has painted herself as the villain and then paints herself as the victim. First, she says, "Don't sexualize me," and then post provocative pictures. She wants her cake and wants to eat it too. She wants all things to be in this bubble where everything goes her way. There's obviously undeniable jealousy there. And I do think part of it is because Caitlin Clark's a white girl. Okay. I've played basketball my whole life. I've been the only white dude on the court. When the white dude does something on the court, it's like, oh, damn. Okay. And then you prove it enough times and they're like, he's got a little brother in him. All right. I've had those conversations many times.
Wait, are you trying to say white man can jump? Is that what you're saying? Or white man can't jump?
You got white dudes playing cornerback in the NFL now. So, but the point I'm trying to make here is Angel Reese is relevant as big as she is because of Caitlin Clark, and she doesn't recognize that. The league totally fumbled last year in capitalizing on her stardom. Yes, this year they are playing in bigger arenas again. But guess what? It's already what I was saying last year. It's the law of diminishing returns. The tickets aren't as hot as they were, and you can't say it's all race because Paige Beckers was the number one pick, and ain't anyone over there saying, oh, we have to see Paige Beckers, like she's the next great thing. Something's different about Caitlin Clark and her game. Breanna Stewart, is one of the best players in the league, plays for New York Liberty, played at UConn. No one's jumping out of their chair to go see Breanna Stewart. No one was jumping out of their chair to go watch Sue Bird or Diana Taurasi. Great players in their own Hall of Fame players. They're incredible. And then the Ryan Clark, that dude is a clown. I can't stand that fool. All right. There's very few people that I really just want to throat punch on sight, and he's one of them. All right. He's a race baiter to the definition. And that's what they are at ESPN because they know it gets the clicks and all that crap. Perkins is awful.
Well, I think that's
Mad Dog is awful. Stephen A. Smith is awful, but is okay on his podcast, which is ironic. And so RG3.
And I think that's all it's about. I think they know it gets clicks. I think they know it gets interactions, and that's why a lot of them do it. I don't think. I would like to think deep down that's not how people really feel. I think it's something just to throw out there and, basically throw meat in the water with a bunch of alligators and watch them attack.
And so to talk about another dude's wife, to bring that racial part of it in, because I know there's a bigger conversation here that I've seen in many other places. Like right before we got on earlier today on TikTok, I came across this video and then it was this podcast. I don't know the name of the podcast, but they're all like, how come a lot of black men go for white women? And they were discussing the reasons why and stuff like that. And I'm sure that was sparked in that conversation here recently because of the RG3 thing. That's not what we're here to talk about, but there's a greater thing here that people aren't paying attention to, I think. But there is a line you don't cross, and making it personal and saying you can't speak on this because of that, that's like I'll be honest, that's like telling me I can't coach basketball because I'm white. And you can't, dude, I've been playing basketball. I know more basketball than 99% of the people on the planet because I've been doing it since I was a child, and I've been coaching for 16 years. And I've coached hundreds, if not thousands, of athletes at this point. And so you can't tell me anything like that because of my race, I don't know the game or anything like that.
Well,
it's crazy talk.
I think to move on from this, but I think the bottom line is...
Move on. It was the subject you want to talk about.
Now look, you sitting here talking about being all basketball, but you look very redneck today. You know that you got the tattoos, the sleeveless shirt, the backwards hat. You're looking a
I'm
little get
white
her done
chocolate,
today.
baby. I'm white
Get her
chocolate right
done. Get her done.
now. No. Get her done would be right here, and I'd have oil stains on the shirt and all that. No. This is white
So
chocolate. Right
yeah,
here. White
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's
Jason Williams covered in
but
tattoos.
but the bottom. Let's get back to the thing is that it needs to be stick to sports when you're paid to talk about sports. Stick to it. And I realize we kind of just broke that rule, but we're talking about people who should be talking about sports. And
Well,
I think
want to say this is the rivalry that isn't a rivalry. It's only a rivalry because you got to win some. You got to be on the same level. And like I said in the beginning, and I say it in the intro on our highlight reel, Angel Reese ain't on Caitlin Clark's level. She's just not. She wants to be relevant. Yes, she beat her in the national championship game with a loaded LSU team. That's all you got over her. I'm going to tell you right now.
I tell you some of the highlights of Caitlin was amazing this week. I mean, shooting the threes from almost half court and just nailing them. Okay. I'm sorry, did I interrupt you?
You did, you jerk. Oh man, I was gonna say the Indiana Fever are gonna win a title before the Chicago Sky. All right, let's move on to NHL playoffs. Holy shish kebabs. All right, NHL playoffs. We can't get any more switching gears than that from WNBA.
Speaking about people throwing punches, did you see the end of the Stars game?
Yeah, I was trying to save the Stars for the last part of it. Carolina, Florida. Game 1, Western Conference Finals. Florida. Whoa. They destroyed Carolina. What?
Put the weapon on.
Yes. Florida looks good. I know
Florida looks faster. And that's why I think they have an inside track to winning this. I really think Florida's going to take this. Huh?
I thought you picked Carolina.
I didn't take Carolina. If I did, I was drunk. I was drinking that whiskey of the week thing. So right now it's in the first period tonight in game 2, and the Panthers are already up 1-0.
Matter of fact, you didn't even take the Stars to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Who did? What? I don't think you're right about that. I think I did take the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
I said the Stars will get there if the Golden Knights don't meet them in the Western Conference Final.
Yeah.
But so getting back to our Texas team, the Stars, I really was worried in game 1, and they seem to have an issue. I guess he's talking about Caitlin Clark tonight or Angel Reese. I'm not sure which one.
If that's Angel Reese, she probably has 14 rebounds, though, because she's.
But the thing was, the reason the Stars are a different team to me this year, because last year, if Edmonton had got up the way they had early on, and obviously facing McDavid, which is obviously can be argued he's the best player in the NHL right now.
Oh, he is.
The difference is this Stars team doesn't have the we've lost this game attitude to me like they had last year. This year, they believe they can come back, and that was proven going into the third period, being down 0-2 as far as being behind by 2 goals, and then just coming back to put he doesn't play for him anymore, but I'll use your old thing, put the stank on him. They came back and really just took over, and the arena was with them. It was rocking. And then you could just see the Edmonton's Oilers' faces, including McDavid, like, what the hell is happening? these Stars are running back because there was a point in the third period, at the beginning of the third period, that I thought Edmonton was faster and they are going to put this game away. Then all of a sudden the Stars woke up. They got a couple power plays and they handled those power plays masterfully, scored on all of them, and just came back. And the fact that they won that game going into the third period, being down 2-0, and winning that game 6-2, which is a huge amount in hockey, was just a testament to how different and faster and resilient the Stars team is this year. And the fact that they have all their players back, there's not any injuries that they're dealing with now. What's that?
Yeah, we're down 3-1 going into the third. So just to let you know, down 3-1. They scored 5 goals in the third period. For the first 40 minutes of that game, while you're realizing my facts are correct, for the first 40 minutes of the game, Oilers looked dominant. They controlled the game. McDavid controlled it. Draisaitl controlled it. It looked like oh shit, like this is the Oilers from last year. And you're right. The scoring that first power play, they had the power play going into the third. I think they had about 1:30 left on it going into the third. They score on that one off of Heiskanen's goal. And then they get another penalty. And then Granlund scores. Granlund, something like that. And then you follow that up with the Duchesne goal after he hits Ropehins in the back, trying to get the goal in there. And you saw Oilers just looking around like, what is going on? I think there is a different confidence with the Stars team. I think when you add Rantanen in, when you add the defenders they got in CC, getting Miro back, even though Robertson still hadn't scored a goal in the playoffs, having him back, just knowing he's there. And so, and man, the Stars just took the momentum and never gave it back. And it was beautiful to watch.
Well, the problem last year was they just hit duds on their power play. This
their
game
power play wasn't good last year, but also last year they never lost 2 games in a row.
Right, I get that, but the thing is, the power play is going to determine. If you look at the percentage in just this game alone, the shots were pretty even, 28-27. But face-offs, this is a big difference this year too. It was 62% to 37%. So the Stars win over 60% of their face-off. But here's the telling of the story, the tell of the tape, so to speak. Power play percentage. The Oilers were only 33. They were only 1 of 3 out of 3 power plays. The Stars were 3 of 4. They were 75% on their power. They basically only had 1 power play that they didn't score on.
Which is not their normal. They did not have a great power play during the season. And so, like, to see them kind of crack that code in that game was awesome. I mean, to put up 5 in, me and Linda were sitting on the couch, and Linda's, watching videos on her phone. She's halfway watching the game. Hockey's not her thing. Baseball is, but she enjoys watching the game, and she loves going to them. She looked up. She's like, "Oh, they scored again? Are you serious?" And then they scored again, and then they scored again, and so it was really fun to watch as a Stars fan, and so that is
the other part of this was, as I was saying, as soon as the horn sounded at the end of the third period, you had 3 fights break out.
And wrestling matches.
Huh?
They were like wrestling matches. They didn't get the gloves.
Well, I understand that, but that's in game 1. We're going to see what. Yeah, no, it's not like the kid in brave. He's like, oh. But so I think this is going to get fiery as far as this
Oh,
goes on.
Game 2 is going to be
mean-
chippy. Did you see that video of McDavid after the game? In the locker room?
Yeah.
Or he was a lot like, this
Yeah.
ain't effing good enough. Need a effing lock in. I mean, there were so many F bombs we would get kicked off the network, I think, if we played it or tried to impersonate it. But it was, I mean, he was pissed. Understandably so. I mean, you're up 3-1 going into the third. You're expecting to hold that lead or to ultimately, like, you know, get a tie and go into overtime at the absolute worst. But get your ass kicked and 5-0 in the third period, man. It was beautiful to see if you're the Stars. It was awesome that they're home. As Stars in the playoffs, they have home ice the rest of the way because of the highest seed left in the playoffs. You know, Otter is still hot. I mean, he gave up 3, but I mean, you know, these are the best of the best teams in the league. So if Dallas can get game 2, it's going to be big time. It's going to be big time. All right. I played a little golf yesterday with the coaches at the school I'm at. Had our own version of the PGA Championship, which was this past weekend, which we did play where some pros do play. I can't say where. It's a very exclusive place that is owned by a company. So it was beautiful. And thank you for those folks at that company for letting us play there. And shout out to Coach Bloodworth, our head golf coach at our school, for getting us on there. So absolutely beautiful. Did not win the scramble. We were 3 over after 18. So the winning score was 3 under. No mulligans, none of that. No improving lies, straight scramble. So but ton of fun out there with the coaches at the school I'm at. But the PGA, Scotty Scheffler wins it again. I got to ask you, is this the best sustained level of excellence we've seen since Tiger?
It's Toger. Who's Toger?
I said Tiger, you jerk.
You said Toger.
No, I
Stop
didn't.
calling your dad a jerk.
Well,
Toger.
turn up your hearing aids.
Toger.
I didn't say. We're going to check the tape, and you're going to see I'm right again, just like I was on the Stars.
Okay, so we haven't used tape since the 70s. It's digital.
You know what I mean?
Rewind. It's an MP4.
Everyone understands.
All right, so so is it? No, it's not. It's
Then
not
who has
there
been
yet.
better than Scotty Scheffler?
He needs to spend a couple of years of being dominant. Then I will say it's
been
tight.
3. He's been number 1 for 160 weeks.
How many majors has he won?
3.
Is he close to Tiger?
No, I'm saying I'm not comparing him and saying he's on Tiger's level. Understand the question I'm asking there. Is this the greatest level of sustainability at the top since Tiger? I'm not saying it's the same as Tiger, since Tiger, because at first we thought
Did he win the Masters?
He won it
Did
twice.
he win the Masters?
He's won it twice, and then he won the PGA.
Did he win it this year?
Huh?
He didn't win it this year.
I understand that, but I'm taking the 3-year total. He's won 18 tournaments and 3 majors in the last 3 years. Has anyone been
he's
better?
Not on Tiger's level yet.
Huh?
He's not on Tiger. Do we see crowds following him like you used to see with Tiger? Is everybody infatuated with him like they with Tiger?
Would you?
No.
Do you understand what I'm
I heard
asking?
your question. No, it is not. It is not the most dominant we've seen yet.
So since Tiger's run, who has been greater in a 3-year span?
How does that even compare to Tiger?
I'm not, old man. Listen to the question. Again, for the 3rd time, since Tiger's run of dominance, is this the greatest run of dominance we've seen since Tiger. Not comparing to Tiger, not saying it's on Tiger's level, not anything with Tiger other since Tiger shit the bed with Elon. Okay? The question is this the greatest 3-year dominance since Tiger was dominant? It's not comparing the two levels. Are we clear?
What are you doing? You're either asking a question or you're stating facts.
I'm asking you the question, and if it's not Scotty Scheffler the last 3 years, tell me who has been more dominant since Tiger.
You might have a point.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Maybe you have a point. Or you're just stating a fact that there's only been one player since Tiger who's maintained a sense of consistency. I wouldn't say dominance. I would say consistency since Tiger. I would agree with you.
I mean, because if it's not him, then you got to look at the top players. Rory, right? You'd have to look at his level. But he had won a major until this Masters in 10 years. So there's that. Spieth hit his majors really quick. And then he hasn't won forever. Brooks Koepka, majors, 2 or 3 majors, hasn't won one since. So what I think separates it, not only winning the 3 majors in that 3-year span, is Masters, and then the PGA. He's also won 18 of his tournaments he's played, which is by far the most. So, what's up, Dustin? We're discussing who has had the greatest run of dominance in golf since Tiger, not comparing him to Tiger, as someone thought I was doing for 7 minutes. But I say Scotty Scheffler is the most dominant since Tiger. He got a long way to go to get to Tiger. He got a long way to go to get to Phil, to be honest. So I think it's very, very interesting. But getting back to the PGA itself, I don't know how much of it you watch, but we all know I'm a Bryson DeChambeau fan. He was in it. He fell off. He got back in it, and then he kind of faltered down the stretch. And you know, I mean, Scotty was winning by 5-6 shots at one point in the final round. John Rahm absolutely falls apart in the final round. Both of them live guys, by the way, DeChambeau and John Rahm. I'm wondering if the smaller tournaments they play with live and the lighter schedule is starting to affect them potentially in the last rounds of major PGA tournaments. But one guy I thought I was really impressed with was Poston. Poston was coming off like 4 or 5 injuries, had played one tournament going into the PGA Championship, and he was in the final pairing with Scotty on Sunday. Just an incredible story by him, and to come back from the injuries that he did. So, but who's the one y'all think closest to Tiger? Go ahead, give your answer there, buddy.
If you take a look at stats, because I wanted to pull those up, so I'm not just talking out my ass.
Well, you do that a lot.
If you look at Scheffler, 12 wins since 2022. If you look at Rory, 26 wins since 2011, which includes 2012, 2014 PGA Championships, 2011 U.S. Open, 2014 U.S. Champion, majors 4. Majors for Scheffler, 2, because obviously we're not counting the one he just won.
So 3.
So
when he just won,
I'm gonna say there's a strong case for Rory here, based on if you're going to take the time since Tiger The reason Rory's name doesn't come up a lot is he hasn't been consistent year to year. Although he has been at the top for a while. He spent, what was it, 122 weeks at number one with notable stints in 2012, 2014.
Yeah, that's when he came out.
Whereas
Roy was a young dude then. That's when he went on his run early in his career. And then he went 10 years without winning a major. That was the big deal at the Masters. It was the career Grand Slam. He finished it, and extremely happy for Rory. He's one of the greatest players of all time. But
so let's get back to your question.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say, because I'm going to go back there because 2011 is pretty much after Tiger, that it's Rory who's been more dominant for a longer period of time. Yes, not presently, but going back, I'm going to say it's Rory. It's not Scheffler. Scheffler needs
Said 3 years.
some more.
Said 3 year span, by the way. Not 4 or 5 years, 6 year span. All right. We got to have better pregame meetings for you to understand the questions that we're discussing.
You need to learn how to ask questions instead of trying to state fact into a question.
No, I didn't. I had to explain the question 3 times because you weren't getting it.
I had to
Felt like I
explain.
was teaching high school.
You explain. I'm glad you don't teach English. Explain.
Yes, I did. I gave
No,
you a
explain.
very clear explanation.
You keep saying explain.
Is explain not a word?
I'm going to explain something to you, okay?
I
You
explained
listen
it
to
to
me.
you. Are you
What
not
I
hearing
tell
the D on
It
the
was
end of the word?
Rory. It was Rory.
All right,
It
well,
was not Schiffler. It was not Schiffler.
I don't know why.
It was
you're getting
Rory.
By the way, my answer is Scheffler on the closest to Tiger since Tiger. But if you're talking career right now, the closest has been Phil. But it'll eventually be Rory, I think. And
But
Scheffler.
that wasn't your question. Your question
I'm
was
answering Dustin's question on the screen.
Dustin's question.
Good Lord.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
move on. Holy shit. Oh, man. I don't know what to do with you sometimes. All right, let's talk Texas Rangers. All right. Matter of fact, that's the best
Look at the
segment.
mediocre teams. Let's talk about the Rangers.
Like, all right, we're getting some viewers back. Apparently, they didn't like our golf back and forth. We lost like 18 viewers or something like that. Not a lot of golfers in the viewing audience. All right. The Rangers. My question is, are they hot or not? They didn't start off hot. The last 10, they're 5-5. They're one game under 500. And that's with not really scoring a lot of runs. So their bats have seemed to start coming alive a little bit. And their pitching has been great. DeGrom pitched great last night. They lost in a walk-off to the Yankees, and they're currently, I believe, down to the Yankees 1-0. Or no, they lost to the Yankees 1-0 today.
Those dang Yankees.
So once again, Rangers can't put any runs on the board, and I'm not really sure what to make of it. But do we see them digging out of this? We're 50 games in now, 60 games in.
Well, the good thing for them is the rest of the American League West is not doing wonderful either. I mean, take a look at the Mariners. Mariners are only up 3 games on them at 28-20. So they, if you look at the other one, Central and East, you have some dominant teams, and the Yankees, the Tigers, whereas you don't necessarily, everybody's kind of evened out. I mean, the Athletics, even though they're not doing so well, they're still only 6 games back of the Mariners. Obviously, there's still a lot of baseball to play, and we'll see how this all plays out. But what helps the Rangers is right now the West is not really great. They're all playing about 500 baseball, except for the Athletics, like I said, who are a little bit less than that. But the Mariners, who are leading that conference, are not that far ahead. So I think we still got a lot of baseball to play, and we'll have to see. But I think one of the things we need to get a perspective of the deer strangler himself, B. Boach, and see if he'll come in and talk to us and see what he thinks. But as we're waiting on him, the thing about it is, if we talk about the National League, the Phillies, which I know our Philly show will be glad to hear this, seem to be really doing well. They've obviously got the Mets on their tail right now. But the Phillies are 8-2 out of their last 2 games. They're playing really well. The Cubs are playing really well at 7-3, and just like the American League West, the National League West is another one that's besides the Rockies, obviously, and there's some serious issues with the Rockies. When you talk about Colorado and being a fan of Colorado right now, that's not the place to be. But when it comes to that, the Dodgers are still the Dodgers, but the Giants and the Padres and the Diamondbacks are not that far back from them. So obviously, my old team from living in San Diego for 15 years was the San Diego Padres. I'm hoping that they come back and hold this, but they haven't done well in their last 10 games. They're 2-8. They need to start getting back on the winning track. But the thing that's helping them out, obviously, is the Dodgers and the Giants. Both are 500 in their last 10 games. So that's really interesting when you look at the American League and the National League. Both the West divisions of each of those seem to be the weaker of the divisions when it comes to having a dominant team, except for the case of the Dodgers, which a lot of folks would talk about as being a dominant team. Obviously, they're defending champions. So it's really, when we talk about that, the Rangers, getting back to the Rangers, because I think we're going to bring in B. Boach here. I think he lost his glasses. He can't find his glasses, so I don't know if B. Boach is going to be able to see. We rarely see his eyes, and now we don't see the big old glasses. Did you lose your glasses there, Coach?
Yeah, I can't really see shit around here.
What was that?
I can't see shit around here.
Oh, okay. Did you leave them there at Casey's place last time?
I don't know where it happened. I know I was out hunting this weekend while we couldn't hit at the broadside of a barn. There's some good hunting up there in New York. You can kill a lot of Yankees.
I gotcha. So we were just talking about, or I was just talking about, how you guys are in a division right now that allows you to make a run if you can start, as you would say, getting runs. You hit the ball, you catch the ball, and you get runs in. If you guys can start moving up a little bit, what's your thoughts on that?
It's you hit the ball, you throw the ball, you catch the ball. All right, if you're going to quote me right, you jackass. I don't appreciate being misquoted. Yeah, I mean, we're in a pretty crappy ass division. I got to be honest. I of course thought we were going to be leading the division, and I don't really know why we can't. I'm about to go steal some of those freaking torpedo bats from the Yankees. We just lost to them 1-0 today. Our pitching staff's doing everything they can to keep us in games. And I really don't know what to do. And we've sent guys down. Chris Young has put guys on, waivers. And, I don't really know. We fired our offensive coordinator because he wanted that title, and we all know that's a football term. And so we were like, get the hell out of here with your, X's and O's bull crap. So I don't really know what's going on with our hitting. But we got to get in the right mindset. So I'm planning a little retreat for the team to get our minds right on our next day off.
Well, what's this retreat going to be about? You going to do some teamwork and maybe go bowling or something like that?
Well, as you know, I am 6th all time in wins, so I know a little something about winning baseball. But to get your mind right for baseball, what do you hit the ball with?
What do you hit the ball with? Are you asking me that question?
Yes, I did.
You hit it with a bat.
You hit it with a bat. What is a bat made out of?
Wood.
Well, you need to be where the wood grows in order to become one with the bat. So I have a specially made bat made for all the players.
So what you're saying is, go ahead.
Are you interviewing me or what's going on? We're going to go into the woods. We're going to put on nothing but loincloths. And we're going to bludgeon every brown bear.
Loincloths.
Yeah, we're going straight engine style. Okay. We're going to our primal selves in the woods to get right with the wood, and we are going on a hunt for dangerous predators to keep the community of Dallas Fort Worth.
I'm just going to say this sounds like something the San Francisco Giants would be more likely to do. Get into loincloths and get out there with their wood and get one with their wood.
Well, I'm going to say I did use it in San Francisco, and we won a couple World Series. It was really.
It just now dawned on me when you said that you used to be a manager out in San Francisco. So is this where you learned to get in your loincloth with other men and concentrate on your wood?
You don't concentrate on your wood. You concentrate on becoming one with your wood. Okay.
So becoming one with your wood. So we're talking like a handling your own affairs is basically what you're saying.
It's a very manly thing we're doing. You go out in San Francisco, we go out to the redwood forest, the sequoia trees. The massive prehistoric trees. You can't get any more woody than that. I got to be honest. All right. Around here, it's a bunch of kind of weenie wood, but
do you play any music while you're out there with
well, we do have some Native American approved by a Navajo chief, but that isn't.
Okay. I was just thinking maybe you played the Stroke by Billy Squier while you're out there in your loincloth and getting one with your wood.
What I do is I also give the players an opportunity to bring a song, and one of the most impactful songs that resonates in our soul tonight is a song about the sweat drop down my balls. All these crawl. All skeet, whatever the hell that
means. Well, yeah. That's so basically it makes an impact. So you're saying get in your loincloth, get one with your wood, and start having some impact.
I mean, there's another one that's like my neck, my back, and then I don't think I can say the rest of it. But something about a crack or something like that. But the guys seem to really like it. But you get in your one with the wood, you get in sync with your primal self, and you bludgeon predators in the area to keep everybody safe, and that way we have some sustenance. Have you ever had beer meat?
Deer meat?
No, bear meat, like grizzly bear.
Oh, bear meat.
Yeah,
So
grizzly bear meat
you're gonna go out and beat up bears with your wood
with our bats. Yes, made out of wood. And
and loincloths.
well, you're damn right. What else would you do it in? Tidy whities.
So just a curiosity, Coach, where do you get loincloths from? Because I don't know of a
We make-
loincloth store.
Well, I go out into the pasture and kill a cow and leather that shit up myself.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna go out, kill some cows to get some loincloth, get
You
one
only
with your
need one
wood,
cow.
listen to some impact music, and then go beat up bears and eat bears.
And if we do that successfully, we're going to start hitting the ball.
And that's going to help you hit the ball. Okay, I
Yeah.
see where you're going with that. Hit a bear, hit a ball. They both begin with B.
Listen,
So
I don't.
are you going to say you're going to do that with your bare hands?
I'm going to say I'm about done with this interview. So I don't know why I keep coming on with you jokers.
Hey, well, there you have it. The Rangers getting in loincloths, getting one with their wood, listening, making an impact. They're going to get some cows and make some loincloths and then go beat up some bears. That's really a scary retreat. Now I'd be careful around boats because I think there's something else going on.
I just saw the most disturbing thing I've ever seen.
You did.
What you didn't see is B. Boach was wearing his manager's stuff up top. He was wearing a loincloth down below. That's a little scary.
I'm pretty glad he wears some. He's an older guy. I wonder if he wears the pins under his loincloth there.
I don't know. We can ask him next week. Holy crap. All right. Hopefully the Rangers figure out their batting issues, their offensive issues, because their pitching is doing pretty well there. All right. Let's move on. Quick story for college football here. Bill Belichick. All right. Living every 70-year-old's dream, apparently, with a 20. He's doing something. Apparently, they're engaged now. Gross. Ick. It was already gross beforehand. Ick. And I only have.
But she loves him.
Bullshit.
She loves him.
She loves that money. That's what she loves. She loves being able to.
You don't know that. Maybe she just loves that old guy. Maybe he's fantastic in the bedroom. We were just talking about wood and loincloths. Maybe he's got some loincloths.
Bill Belichick's pecker skills all of a sudden.
I was not going to get that graphic. I'm just saying that maybe when it comes to intimacy, maybe he's all that.
Listen,
maybe she's enjoying herself.
Have you seen what shape Bill Belichick's in? Don't give me this. He's got it in the sack crap. Can't believe this is even a subject on our show right now. This is ridiculous. Okay. A 24-year-old dating a 70-something-year-old, now engaged to a 70-something-year-old. Don't tell me she ain't a gold digger. Don't give me that bullcrap. This is Anna Nicole Smith all over again. Just, he's not 90 yet. All right. And I'm interested to see what's going to happen at UNC because I think the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, is about tired of this damn sideshow.
I think I might be able to get Bill Belichick to come in here for a second. He has a lot of the same hair as Jerry Jones. He just doesn't wear the glasses. You want me to bring Bill Belichick in?
I mean,
I think I can find
surprise guest. I didn't know Bill Belichick was in our bag.
Yeah, let me go get it. Let me go.
All right. What a surprise. Coach Belichick on the show. Didn't see that one because that is not on the list of things that we were doing. So this should be a very interesting interview. I've never interviewed Bill Belichick before, so we'll see what he comes. By the way, two greatest point guard, two out of the top three greatest point guards right there. Magic Kid. All right. Well, I'm sure he'll add himself when he is in studio. But by the way, custom sign made on time sports talk. Can't really see it. Oh, holy crap. Bill Belichick, welcome to the show for the first time. I am honored to interview you.
I thought that maybe coming in here might be something. I know a lot of people are talking about me.
A lot of people are talking about you.
It's a little embarrassing. But the bottom line is my girlfriend's hot. What can I say? I
Is it love though? I mean, no one disagrees she's not attractive. Is it true love?
She loves me. It's regardless if I put dollars in her panties when we first met. She tells me she loves me.
I'm sure they all do. But Bill Belichick is the most I've ever seen you laugh.
Let me just clear some things up. Tom Brady had some really nice girlfriends.
Yeah.
And
are you jealous?
I wanted to prove that that I could be a champion without Tom Brady. And I think I proved that, and it's true love. From the time we kissed, it was a lot like Snow White. She was asleep, I kissed her, and she kind of stayed asleep, and I went to sleep, and we woke up in love. So
just a complete romantic love story.
I want to clear that up. Is that
so Coach Belichick, you're engaged now, right? Are you going to get a prenup? Probably smart to do.
A prenup is kind of like a pregame. I'm really not into the pregame. I think it's you want to get out there and you want to win football games, and I want to make sure that I continue to win her heart. And it's really all about keeping the Viagra in the medicine cabinet. I mean, it's about true love and doing the things, doing the things she wants. But I agree with. So
do you agree that she should be talking to you about football strategy for the University of North Carolina?
Well, I pretty much make the decisions as long as she agrees with them. And as far as who's in charge, that's me, as long as she agrees with it. And I take out the trash
right now.
That what?
I'm surprised she didn't need to approve this interview ahead of time.
Well, it's
tell him that I love him.
Okay, so she loves me, and I love her, and that's kind of, I just wanted to set the record straight. So that way.
Well, there you have it, folks. It's according to Bill, it is true love.
It is. It's true love, and age is just how old you are. That's what age is, and it's kind of like X's and O's. It's pretty much she's young, she's vibrant, and she lets me take a nap, so I'm okay with that.
Okay. All right. Well, you go take your nap. Pop another of those aforementioned Viagra you talked about, and maybe we'll have you on the
That's
show in the future.
maybe so. I appreciate you letting me coming on and clear. Tell them I love you. And she loves me. I just want y'all to,
All right.
everybody to clear that up. So you
All
take
right.
care and thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill. What are we doing around here? Folks, how are you not entertained? I don't know.
Okay, so Bill, you guys can stay for dinner if you want. It's okay.
Listen,
He kind of sounds a little like Bochy sometimes.
he's need a little more monotone than Boach, but oh man, I was just saying, how are you not entertained? How are you not telling your friends about this show? Because it's one of the God, it's so stupid. What are we doing here?
We are. Where's my camera? We are more nuts than planners.
Oh man.
Unless you're in Colorado, where you're nuggetless.
Yeah.
The new word of the week, nuggetless.
In Colorado. All right, let's we got 2 segments left. Holy crap. And not a lot of time. The NFL. Rest in peace, Jim Irsay. The owner of the Colts passed away in his sleep. His family put out he passed away peacefully. Irsay, he's one of the few owners in the league that his business was the Colts. So, like, you know, Jerry Jones has business interests everywhere. A lot of these owners have, you know, different realms of revenue. Irsay wasn't like that, and that's pretty unique. He became one of the youngest NFL owners. I think he took over the Colts at like 34, 37 years old, somewhere around there. So he's been doing it for a while. And I think it's important to point out for Jim Irsay is obviously he's a billionaire, but he was a common guy. He did it, and you're going to talk about what he meant to the community here in a second, but he was a common guy in the fact that he struggled with things. And his substance abuse issues with alcohol is well documented. And I think ultimately, you know, I think I heard someone talking about him. He went to rehab over 15 times. And so it was a real struggle throughout his life with alcoholism. And, you know, I actually think it's probably harder to get over that with someone in his position because he has all the money for the rest of his life to waste away in his alcoholism into his addiction. So the fact that he did beat it, and that he lived a full life, you know, obviously I'm sure his family and a lot of people in the Colts community, you know, didn't wish he passed away. But talk about what you learned about him and the community in Indianapolis and really what he meant to, you know, the Colts organization and the state of Indiana.
Well, the thing is I've been around long enough when it used to be the Baltimore Colts. And there was a huge backlash when the Colts were moved. Obviously, that backlash turned into bringing in another team, but that also actually most of that backlash was about the Cleveland Browns moving away to Baltimore when that happened. So it created a whole ripple effect in the NFL. But when you talk about Indianapolis, it was not known as a football town, obviously. And so Irsay came in and he really turned that into a football town. And quite frankly, one of the best quarterbacks to ever play in Peyton Manning. He's the reason that he is who he is. And there was an interview, I think you looked that up, that Manning was talking about him. I'm not sure which network it was, but he said without him, there is no Peyton Manning. And I I actually heard an interview of one of the folks who was on that staff because remember when Peyton Manning was getting drafted, it was Ryan Leaf and Peyton Manning, San Diego Chargers and Indianapolis Colts, who was going to get either. Well, Irsay is the one that had Manning on his radar the whole time. And in fact, this person who was part of the organization said that they had offers from other teams all the way up to one team was going to offer them 6 starters for that draft pick so they could get Peyton Manning. Well, that discussion, he came back because they said, well, for Peyton, let's just tell them we want this. There's no way they'll ever go for that. Well, that team, I don't know who that team and who was involved in that discussion said, we'll do it.
It was probably
So
the Vikings.
that kind of,
That is probably the Vikings.
Vikings or somebody like that, or the Browns. But the thing is, he realized then that Manning was a once in a lifetime player, and he was going to be better than Leaf was. So he didn't want to give that up. So when Peyton Manning says there is no Peyton Manning without Irsay, he is exactly right, because he stuck to his guns in getting him. And that turned that town into, I mean, and you go back to him hiring Tony Dungy at the time, was a big deal also. Because Tony Dungy was one of the first real winning coaches. That was one of the first black coaches out there. And Irsay, he didn't, and you never got the feeling that's why he picked Tony Dungy. He picked Tony Dungy because Dungy was good. And just he knew he was the type of coach that town needed. He knew that was the type of coach that Peyton Manning needed. And you look what they did. They look at the arena now where they have the combine every year. He was a big part of all that. A lot of people talk about Jerry and Jerry's world. Well, Irsay has a pretty nice stadium there in Indianapolis
Yeah,
where they do the combine every year.
Yeah. Lucas Oil. You mentioned Tony Dungy. As an owner, to have the foresight to bring in Tony Dungy, first, African American, first, however you want to word it, first black head coach to win a Super Bowl, made history there. To have the foresight to, not only Peyton Manning but Andrew Luck. After Peyton Manning, I know they didn't win a Super Bowl. Andrew Luck injuries caught up with him. And so, yeah, I think stories I saw about Irsay was, he gave away a lot of tickets to the community. He wanted people in the stadium and in the Indianapolis area to experience the Colts. And that's how I think that's how you really develop lifelong fans, generation after generation, to give them opportunities to see them. This kind of transitions to something a little different, but you mentioned in a little segment we did about, going to a Cowboys game, you're going to spend $1,000-$2,000 just to go to a game, a family of 4 now. And it's really hard to stomach that for a lot of people, to go watch a game. And, I remember my first game you took me to, I know it wasn't that expensive. And it made an impact going to the game, going to Rangers games, I went to my first Stars game a couple of months ago, but, following certain players and seeing them in person is really an experience. And I think Jim Irsay understood that, and he wanted to continue that loyal fan base in the greater Indianapolis and the entire state of Indiana. So he had his faults as a human being, as a man, but as an owner, he was probably one of the better ones. He's probably underrated in NFL ownership history, to be honest. But all right, let's stick with the NFL. Flag football by the NFL, the winter meetings or NFL meetings, not winter meetings, that's baseball. The NFL meetings are going on in Minnesota right now. They're normally in a nicer place than Minnesota. No offense, Minnesota, but they're normally like in Orlando or San Diego or Miami, something a little sexier.
I will say for Minnesota, when it's not wintertime, it is beautiful.
I'm sure,
It is
but
a
they're not
beautiful
spending
place
much
to be.
time on the lakes in the NFL meetings. They're probably spending all their time at that new stadium they got up there that's really beautiful. NFL flag football, or not NFL flag football, Olympic flag football. The owners have approved their
Well,
players.
can we touch on before we get to that, the Tush push?
Well, I was going to do the Tush push after the Olympics.
Okay, then we'll talk about flag football first.
It's on the list.
So
I think they approved
flag-
one player from each team can participate, is what they said.
I think so.
You like this?
I think it's goofy. I just think flag football is for little kids, and it just, to me, and I'm gonna make up a word, it's the pansyification of sports. Football is about football. It is about gladiators hitting each other, pushing each other, fighting up and down the field. Instead of flag football is something that you do as a little kid. It's not fun to watch. It's just people running around throwing the football. That's basically all it is.
Yeah,
nobody's getting hit. None of that. So
it's 7-on-7, right? It's what the high school kids are doing right now, 7-on-7. I don't like the professionals being in it, not because of injury risk. I think the Olympics want the professionals in it from the NFL because it adds cachet and it adds names, right? Like if you have Patrick Mahomes as the quarterback for Team USA, it's going to draw eyeballs, right? I actually think it's a lose-lose for NFL players because if they go and play in this and lose, that's embarrassing. If I was an NFL player, I wouldn't do it. But who I really feel for, there are professional flag football leagues. There are real athletes already doing this. This is why it got approved in the Olympics to be an Olympic sport. And I don't know what the criteria is. I mean, curling is an Olympic sport, so I don't even know what is the requirements. I think it is.
Breakdancing was one.
Oh God, let's not even talk about that.
But here's the thing.
Kangaroo. Do the kangaroo.
I know, yeah, that was the one. Breakdancing.
I don't like it. I'm just gonna say I don't like it.
Thing is, if you're gonna have a sport like football, make it freaking football, because that would be entertaining. I want to see the American football players play, say, the Indian team when they're out there. Let's go.
Why'd you have to go?
2, 3, 4. Oh my God. That would be funny. Or, playing the Japanese, or I told you, that would be funny. That would be entertainment I would pay for.
We're getting kids.
But this flag football is just a bunch of homes throwing around the football. And it's made for kids.
It's like I said, it's 7-on-7, right? It's what they do in the Pro Bowl.
So do this. We have kids in the Olympics, right? There's kids in the Olympics at a certain age. Let's limit the age to 13, and then let those kids go out there and play for Olympic gold.
No,
in flag football.
If you, I'm gonna go back to my point. There's already professional leagues for flag football. There's already great athletes who put a lot of time into this that are, not NFL players, but the athleticism is already on that type of level. I think it's a disservice to those individuals personally. You're going to say, okay, Tyreek Hill or whoever you want to put on these teams, is going to go out there and just do it. I don't.
There is a clip of Tyreek Hill playing in flag football with a little girl, who
Yes, I've seen it.
jukes him out of his freaking shoes.
Well, there's a reason why Tyreek Hill doesn't play corner. Let's say that. But yes, I'm just saying he would be a receiver, obviously. But
Well,
I
you just said great athletes who play flag football.
no. Once again, you're not listening to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's already great athletes who are playing professional flag football. Okay? If you don't believe me, go out there and check it out. Okay? But they're not in the NFL, but they're still great athletes. They're better athletes than whatever Great Britain's throwing out there when it comes to flag football. They're,
they have a little game that's like football. It's called rugby. And I think they will.
Different sports. And you don't see people throwing a rugby football.
That's actually a funny comment right there. Right there. There's a funny comment.
South Korea. Yeah, sure. Go do that, Kyler Murray, and get your ass kicked. But the point I'm just trying to say is there's guys who put a lot of time into their craft who play professional flag football already. To me, it's a disservice to those athletes to have NFL players just come in and play. I know you keep giving me this look like I'm talking crazy. It's legit.
Because here's the thing. Don't you think there's other ones who play basketball that are amateur basketball players that the NBA coming in and taking their spots is the same damn thing?
No, because NBA is the professional league. The NFL is not a professional flag football league.
The Olympics was supposed to be amateur.
That to me is a long time ago.
But that's what screwed it up to me.
College athletics is supposed to be amateur. Like the U.S. Amateur Open is supposed to be amateur. It's not like that's not. Come on, it's the amateur shit has gone way out the window. There is no amateur sports anymore. All right, maybe I'm sure kids at the high school level at certain schools are getting paid under the table, or mom and dad are getting paid. So it's just one of those things. I think it's a disservice to the guys who have paved the way for flag football to become an Olympic sport, and then you're just going to let NFL players come and take their spots. I think it's a disservice to them. That's what I'm trying to say. I also, one player on each team is allowed to go try out or play. It's not that big a deal if there's not a huge injury risk, I don't think. So the injury part of it isn't. But if I'm an NFL player, I'm not doing it because it's all lose for me. If you win, you were supposed to win. If you lose, you lost to those guys. So, anyways, tush push.
So
go ahead, tush push. Go ahead.
Well, we'll get to that. But do you know who the Ocelots are?
No.
That's the Dallas Ocelots. You're talking about the professional flag football team. That is the professional flag football team that plays at the Star.
You can try to make me look bad all you want. I know there's a professional league. I don't know any of their names. I barely know there's a UFL team here in Houston called the Roughnecks. Okay, because no one gives a shit. It's on the level for WNBA.
Oh, that is not true. That is not true. The people here do love the Roughnecks, and there's a lot of people showing up to those games.
Really?
Yes, because it's real football. It's people actually hitting each other and playing football instead of a bunch of bros throwing the football around. Because that's all flag football is. Just running around throwing the football.
That's all these kids want to do now. That's the thing. Like they love 7-on-7 more than they like real high school football.
Of the sport. Pansification. Right.
I don't disagree with you. Like here's the funny thing when you want to get in an argument with me. Half the time I'm agreeing with you. You just want to argue to argue. You want to try to make me look bad. I agree with you that it's pansification. I don't like it. I think it's stupid. Okay. But all the point I'm trying to make is it's a disservice to the people in the professional flag football leagues who were able to make this Olympic sport to have Patrick Mahomes or Hill or CeeDee Lamb or whoever the hell is going to play.
Well,
Take
my
their spot.
argument is it's no different than the NBA players or the
No,
NHL
there's
players.
no
It's no
amateur
different than that.
basketball league. There's no other. The professional basketball league is the NBA. It's professionals.
But the NFL is the one that's fixing to start the American Flag Football League. Well, that's who's actually in place. And the NFL is looking at doing this more along the lines of this is going to be a whole new thing. Women's flag football, just like you have women's NBA. So that's what they're looking. They're trying to get women involved in the game. And so, yeah, you want to go play flag football? That's basically a woman's sport. Have at it.
You're walking a dangerous road saying something like that. The point I'm trying, I don't even know if I need to try to make the point anymore, but is the professional flag football league is already a professional league, as you already pointed out. There are professionals already doing it. In the NBA, hold on, would you listen? Shut up and listen to me for a second. You want to keep using basketball as an example. I don't know what you're raising 4 fingers for.
There's only 4 teams in the AFFL.
Okay, that's 4 more than 0. Okay? The point I'm trying to make is you want to use the NBA, right? The NBA is the professional league in the sport they play in the Olympics. The NFL is not the professional league that they play in the Olympics. You just pointed out in your own words, it's 2 different sports. It's 2 different things. So taking away from the athletes that are already professionally in that sport, to me, is wrong. That's the only point I've tried to make this whole time. And you want to argue
this is what we need to do. We need to go and find one of these players and bring them on to talk about this. Because I want to point out that this could be a co-ed league.
To the tush push. Your subject you want to talk about, I tried to transition 10 minutes ago, and you keep going back to the flag football crap. Talk about the damn tush push, please.
Nothing changed. Not a whole lot to talk about. Nothing changed. It won by what, 2 votes?
Yeah, that is
so my opinion is, not just because I hate the Eagles, the Sheagles, is it should be banned because someone is going to get hurt. Because you have whatever. I don't know who this Ty George person is.
Whoa.
Name is Ty. Finish out your name, Ty.
Whoa, Ty. Ty, don't say anything stupid. You don't remember Ty George?
Oh, wait, okay. So there you go. Doesn't Ty stand for something else? Doesn't Ty stand for something else? Tyler or something?
I've never heard anything Ty. Anyway.
Ty. Okay. My apologies, Ty. I forgot which Ty you were. So didn't mean to tie you up.
I got you.
Bada bing.
Tush push.
Someone is going to get hurt in the tush push.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going to take, because the whole reason they didn't allow that type of stuff, and they still don't allow it on a field goal block, is because when you are down like that and your head is facing up against these gigantic men, then eventually someone is going to get their neck broke. I just think it's going to happen, and God help us if it's Jalen Hurts, the main player out there, because he really doesn't even have control of his own body when he do the tush push.
No.
He dives and everybody pushes him, and it's out of control. And that's, the whole reason they changed the damn football, the kickoff, was to try and limit injuries. Well, if you're going to let 300-pound men that are literally inches from each other and then take a quarterback who's supposed to be the most protected person on the field, and you're just going to shove him into all that humanity at full force with all that serious strength and weight, and say that that's going to be safe to do just because one team is good at it, they're going to get somebody, mark my words, someone's going to get their neck broke eventually, because it is out of control. Because the problem is that the person with the ball literally dives in and everybody else takes control of their body to push them forward against all that humanity. So
Yeah.
I just think you're going to end up with someone getting hurt.
Yeah, I mean, do you punish or do you make a rule that punishes mainly one team, right? That when you think tush push, or brotherly shove or whatever BS, I think you obviously automatically think of the Eagles. I think it's significant that it only passed by 2 votes. I really do. I think it's because I think it's eventually going to get passed. You only had 2 votes not happen, or not have the majority by 2 votes or whatever they needed. Because all it's going to take is one of those teams to get beat by a tush push, and they're like, "Oh, never mind, we're going to change our vote," or something happen like that. I think to me, it's rugby. It's not football. That's what it is to me. If you want to play rugby, go play rugby, right? So that's just I don't like the play. I think it's dumb. I think being able to push your player like that from the backfield, as you pointed out, is unsafe. I think down the field, when you're talking a lineman and a running back or something like that, I think it's a little different. Or when you're pushing the pile, the big pile, when someone's getting tackled is a whole different scenario. But the tush push, I think is dumb. I think it's, obviously the Eagles they do have an advantage with it, but I'm not saying that's why I think should be outlawed by any means. I think they should take it away because to me, it's not in good faith of the game of football. To me, that's just me. And I don't particularly like it. So, all right, we got one last segment here, and then we're gonna get out of here. It hasn't felt like almost an hour and 45 minutes, to be honest. I guess that's time flies when you're having fun. Real quick, NBA playoffs. You said look out for the Pacers. How about those Pacers?
Yes, it was a pretty amazing game. The fact that they went into overtime. There was some questionable calls, questionable non-calls. I think Halliburton double dribbled on one that they didn't call. But that's par for the course. I think was it in that game where the guy did one dribble all the way from the back of the court to the other basket? I think he did one dribble.
I'm not sure.
But
to be honest, I didn't watch much of the game. I caught the end of it.
But I think it's going to be a good series. But I think Indiana is just. I think Halliburton himself. Halliburton was the one who got shunned in the Olympics. He's the one who tweeted, that, helped the team get the A, and then doesn't get any credit.
He also got voted most overrated player by his peers.
Yeah. Well, I think if he leads them to the championship and wins the championship, he's going to have the ultimate. I don't know what he's going to say.
He's got the ultimate middle finger, right? I think he's already got that, to be honest. To get to the Eastern Conference Finals, to knock off the, crap. Who did they play in the last round? Because the Knicks beat Celtics, right?
Yes.
I'm brain farting.
They
but-
beat the Cavaliers.
Caps, your pick to win it all. So, so the Pacers, man, I've been impressed with how they do. The Toppin kid, I mean, what an athlete. He was making plays left and right. I'll tell you what, as a basketball coach, Tyrese Halliburton's shooting form just irks me because it's just ugly as hell. But it goes in. It's not quite Sean Marion by any means, but just wow, it's very ugly. I'll tell you something I like, but I didn't like at the same time. I liked the choke when he thought he had won it, doing the Reggie Miller to Spike Lee, but you didn't win it. You tied it because your foot was on the line. But I like the forethought. I like being aware of the history of the rivalry between the Pacers and Knicks. In this series, I'm going to be honest, I'm cheering for the Pacers because I don't like the Knicks. I love seeing New York sports suffer. I'm sorry. I just do. I want the Yankees to lose. I want the Mets to lose. I want the Rangers to lose. The Islanders, the Knicks, the Nets, the Giants, the Jets, all of them. I hope they all lose all the time because people in New York think they're better than everyone else in the country all the time. So I hope all their teams lose. Sorry, Gary. I know Gary's a Jets fan. I think our second guest ever on the show. I hope your Jets lose. I'm sorry. Yeah. But yeah, Indiana, incredible game. And Nuggets are out. OKC absolutely trounces the Timberwolves in their first game of the Western Conference Finals. I think OKC somewhat breezes through this, maybe 5 games, 6 at the most. But
Yeah, they're at the half right now, and OKC's up 58-50.
Yeah, I didn't even know that, and I think OKC takes that in 5 games. I think Minnesota will probably get game 3 at their own place. Then OKC will finish it out in game 4 and 5. If Minnesota doesn't win tonight, obviously. So I tell you what, I really don't like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't like his game. He's on the LeBron James level of flopping. He really is. And I don't like guys who play the game and look for flops and bait the referee into stuff. And I shared a video on Twitter. There's literally an AAU game of like 8-year-olds, and kids are flopping in AAU at 8 years old, and the refs are falling for it. Number one. Number two, y'all didn't think this was going to translate down to the youngest level. I had players at Lake Creek. I had players at Caldwell and at Stratford. They like throw their head back, like acting I'm like, stop that garbage, man. Like, stop trying to foul bait with the refs. It's one thing to sell an actual foul. It's one thing to pretend like you're getting fouled. And to me, LeBron James, James Harden, those guys are the ones who really started it. And Shea Gilgeous-Alexander has perfected it as well in his game, and I think it's absolute garbage. He's the MVP of the league. He got awarded that last night. Congratulations to him. But I think it's stupid. I really do. All right.
Well, I was talking a little bit about Ty earlier. I do remember Ty. He's number 23 on Lake Creek, wasn't he? And then I looked him up on Facebook. Have you seen Ty lately?
Yeah, he got massive. Jack.
He's like a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
I think we should bring Ty on the show. Ty, get a hold of your old coach there, and I want to bring you on the show because I want to show a before and after. Good gracious. I will never say a word about Ty's name again because he'll kick my ass.
Hey,
He's
so
huge.
funny story. So you know, I'm in the CrossFit and I do all the strength and conditioning for basketball programs that I'm a part of, and I believe in CrossFit and basketball translate really well together. And so Lake Creek, that first in those first 2 years I was there, man, those groups really bought into what I was asked them to do. And our head coach, we're sitting there in the weight room and they're doing pull-ups, and he like hits me on the shoulder. He's like, "Look at Ty's back," and it was just pop, 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 like muscles everywhere. He's like, "How did that happen?" And I just looked at him. I'm like, "I guess what I'm doing works." And so, but yeah, it seems to happen when players graduate high school athletics.
So
Not just
you as a coach weren't feeding them. You need to feed them.
well, see, they don't have to do all the running when they're not playing basketball anymore, so they're not burning the same amount of calories, and they can bulk more. They can, excuse me, put on 10, 15, 20 pounds of muscle. So, and they always seem to come back, and you're like I don't know if you remember Charlie from that team. He's put on 20 pounds of muscle last time I saw him. He was number 32, I think.
Yeah, I remember
Charlie. So, but these guys just they end up bulking up, and awesome that they got into it. But yeah, Ty. I mean, he's got my number. He can text me anytime to get him on the show, or any of my former players, honestly. Y'all got my number if you're watching. But last segment of the week, whiskey of the week. By the way, maybe got something in the works with a volunteer company and stuff like that. They reached out to me today on LinkedIn, so I'm excited about that. But this is not theirs. I went with the classic. I went with Bullet bourbon. So not whiskey. Went with bourbon, the old school. So that is the whiskey of the week, or bourbon of the day. I don't really know how to say that, because bourbon of the day, that's B&D, so that doesn't work. We're just gonna stay with
you didn't play our sponsor commercial, but that's okay.
Yeah, we're almost at 2 hours. So.
Yeah, we're at the end, so we'll worry about that later. Give them a discount.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, before we sign off, anybody that's out there, it's really cheap to be a sponsor for our show. We can get you 30 seconds, 60 seconds. I mean, for what, $25, $30, you can get your spot on here. So it's pretty easy, pretty cheap right now. Need to do it before we're famous, because once we're famous, those prices are going to go up. But we can get you on there. Got tons of listeners, and we can always make a deal to get you on all the network shows too for a little bit more. But it is we are looking for sponsors, and if you're a local business or Houston business, Dallas business, Texas business, it's an easy way to get your name out there to our followers.
I'm gonna say this: if you, no offense to any businesses out there, if you're a veteran-owned business, you're probably going to the front of the line for us. We're both vets ourselves. I want to put out as much as I can for veteran-owned business, and that especially support the veteran community. Something in the works. Hopefully, I'm hoping I get blessed and get an opportunity with a certain thing I'm going through right now, and I'm hoping that leads to a branch within their company that does help vets recover from trauma and through a sport. I'll just say that I would love for that to be a potential career path, but yeah, we choose the colors because it's PTSD awareness, and we can play any commercial. Yeah, 30 seconds, $25. 60 seconds is obviously double, $50 a show, or once a week. So and we can throw it on our social media, and TikTok and all that. We both have a decent following, so feel free. We'd love to, and any foundations are out there that maybe can't afford to sponsor, but would love to come on and talk, or love to put any information out there that you may need to throw.
And then just a technical note: if you're gonna be on Facebook and you want your comments to be seen, you need to go to Casey's Facebook, because I see that my sister Carrie made some comments and they didn't come through to us on the show, but I thought I would recognize her for listening. She says she also agrees Rose should have been pardoned a long time ago. Punishment did not fit the crime. And this one I don't even want to say, but I will. The one with the hat is a cutie. Have you seen my baseball? So there you go.
I hope that's for my wife.
For your Aunt Carrie.
Oh, okay. Well, it's streaming on yours. It should have popped up. That's weird.
I think it just doesn't on mine. It won't show the comments for some reason. But that's why I'm saying if they want their comments to show, they need to go to yours or the On Time Sports Network page.
All right. Well, folks,
comments on the show.
Well, folks, so if you've been out there commenting, don't think we were ignoring you. We didn't know, so we'll keep an eye on that moving forward, for sure. So, folks, if you were here with us the whole 2 hours, we can't say thank you enough. And we appreciate y'all. And anything you see of ours, share for the show, get it out there, and I'm going to try to be on next week, but I am getting married in 8 days. So 9 days. 9 days, I think. Well, today's almost over. So 8 and some change. We'll say 8 and a wake up. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to be on next Thursday evening. So the old man may be flying solo.
Into the danger zone, baby.
Yep, and you're definitely going to be solo when I'm on my honeymoon. So, all right, folks. Peace. We're out. We love y'all.
Have a good evening.